that feeling like you're fighting a battle, but the battlefield is inside your own head? Well, according to the Bhagavad Gita, that's not just a feeling. It's pretty much the human condition. In this explainer, we're going to decode the Gita, not as some ancient war epic, but as a practical playbook for winning that very personal battle inside each of us. You know, the hero of the Gita, a guy named Arjuna, he finds himself on a battlefield, asking a question that probably sounds super familiar. It's this: after all the work, after all the striving for success, why does that deep, lasting sense of fulfillment still feel so far away? Okay, so to really get the Gita's answer, we have to shift our perspective a little. The huge war that the story describes, it's not just some event from the history books. It's a powerful metaphor for the war happening right now, inside you. At the very center of this whole thing is Arjuna. And I want you to think of him less like a mythical warrior and more like, well, us. He's standing on the brink of a massive conflict, and he's totally frozen. He's confused, he feels powerless, and he has absolutely no idea how to move forward. Sound familiar at all? And here's where it gets really interesting. In this inner war, the two armies are actually different parts of ourselves. On one side, you've got the Pandavas. They represent your A-team, your highest potential. We're talking integrity, authenticity, and that deep drive to contribute something meaningful. But they're up against the Kauravas, and these guys are the personification of our inner demons, that nagging self-doubt, that corrosive self-hatred, and all forms of self-denial. It is, quite literally, an inner civil war. So if we're all in this inner battle, what's actually causing it? Where does all the struggle really come from? The Gita says it all boils down to one single core problem. And that problem is a state called incompletion. The best way to think about it is like a constant low-grade hangover from your past. All the old hurts, the regrets, the things you wish you'd said or done, it's all that emotional baggage. And what it does is create this powerful delusion that you're separate from life, separate from others, and it keeps you trapped. And here's the catch. This is what makes it so tough. When we're stuck in that state of incompletion, we literally can't listen properly. Not to others, and not even to our own inner wisdom. And of course, when we don't listen, we create more misunderstandings, more conflict, more pain, which just leads to more incompletion. It's a perfect, vicious circle. And the Gita even gives these inner demons names and faces from the story. Our self-doubt, that's like the blind king, Dhritarashtra, who can't or won't see the truth. Our self-hatred is the scheming advisor, Shakuni, always whispering poison in our ear. And self-denial, that's the destructive prince, Duryodhana, who's so terrified of admitting fault that he'd rather burn the whole world down. That is the enemy army within. Okay, so that's the problem, and it's a big one. But what's the solution? The Gita gives us a spiritual toolkit, basically. 4 fundamental powers, or tattvas, that we can use to fight back and find our way back to wholeness. So here's our arsenal, and the order is crucial. It all starts with integrity, which just means honoring your word. To other people, yes, but most importantly, to yourself. Building that self-trust creates the foundation for authenticity, which is all about operating from your true peak self, without any masks. From that place of genuine strength, you can embrace responsibility. And this isn't about blame. It's about empowerment, knowing you're the source of your reality. And when you live with those 3, the 4th power, enriching, just kind of happens naturally. It's an overflow, a desire to contribute from a place of fullness, not obligation. These are the powers of our inner heroes. And just like our inner demons, our inner heroes get names too. Each power is embodied by one of the hero brothers. The king Yudhishthira, he is integrity. The powerful Bhima, he's pure authenticity. And our guy, Arjuna, well, his whole journey is about learning to embody responsibility. They're more than just characters. They're blueprints for activating our own highest selves. So as we start using these powers, something really profound starts to happen. We're led toward the Gita's ultimate secret. It turns out, this whole thing isn't just about winning an inner fight. It's about discovering the true nature of the one who's fighting. And this is the absolute core of what Krishna teaches Arjuna. He says, look, everything you think you are, your body, your thoughts, your emotions that are all over the place, that's not the real you. Your true self is something much, much deeper.
Krishna reveals that the essence of who we are, it's an eternal, indestructible soul. It can't be harmed, it can't die, it was here before you were born, and it'll be here after you're gone. And that is the fundamental shift in perspective the Gita is asking for. To stop identifying with the temporary stuff and start identifying with the permanent self.
Now, that's a pretty big idea to wrap your head around, so there's this amazing story to help explain it. Imagine a lion cub, orphaned at birth, is found and raised by a flock of sheep. So this little cub grows up bleeding, eating grass, and believing with every fiber of its being that it is, in fact, a sheep. Then one day, a huge, powerful, adult lion comes upon the flock and sees this sheep lion. But instead of attacking, the great lion acts like a master, a teacher. He drags the terrified little cub to a pond, makes it look at its own reflection, and then gives it a taste of its true food, meat. The moment that cub tastes the meat, something inside it just clicks. An old instinct, a dormant power just awakens. And for the first time in its life, it doesn't bleat like a sheep. It lets out a massive, powerful roar. In that one moment, it remembers what it is. It was never a sheep. It was a lion all along. And that roar is the ultimate message of the Bhagavad Gita. We are all that sheep lion. We've just mistaken our identity. We've forgotten our true nature. The final, explosive truth of this teaching is that we aren't small, we aren't fearful, we aren't incomplete. At our very core, we are divine. So we end by turning that question back to you. If your life is the battlefield, what are you fighting for? Are you fighting to defend your limitations, your identity as a sheep? Or are you fighting to awaken your true nature and finally reclaim your inner roar?